Hey everybody, I am on for the midweek message reveal Wednesday, July 3rd. We have stepped into the 7-7 portal, which is known as the portal in which Sirian energy comes through, where our sun is in alignment with the star Sirius. And Sirius is known as our central sun, our spiritual sun. And this spiritual and central energy of the cosmos comes through and brings through an amplified level of light energy and light codes that help to raise our vibration, help to cleanse and purge, and also allow us to be in a higher state of manifestation where we're able to bring more in alignment with our experience and the things that we prefer and the things that we desire. So it's a really awesome portal. This energy is open and available to us from the 3rd to about the 8th. So we're right in the center of it. And we will also be experiencing some clearing and opening opportunities with the Cancer new moon here this weekend as well. So we also have Neptune that has gone retrograde, Saturn also having gone retrograde, and we have Pluto as well, also in retrograde. Mercury will be coming up into retrograde next month, but what we can do is focus the most on getting our ducks in a row, so to speak, getting the plans that we've been kind of sitting on and waiting for the window to open, waiting for the right little cog to fit into place. So now we have some forward movement. We are no longer at a point where we don't know when that's going to happen. We can see that actually happening if we don't already have a timeline there. And it is now, it's go time. Not so much that we can put these things into place in action, but we can set things up so they are ready for us when the green light comes on, because we're at a point of preparing for this energetic sort of influx of energy that's going to allow us to move through things. It's a very beneficial time. Yet July has lots of interesting, really jam-packed transit sort of stuff that we haven't really experienced ever. So you might be feeling some things that are going to be kind of testing you a little bit and asking you to set a boundary. That's what retrograde season does. And retrograde having to do with Saturn is really going to be asking for you to really take a look at the things that the energy you've put out and what you receive back, reaping what you've sown. And the karmic retribution of things comes pretty hard with Saturn. But I think that there's a lot of energy and fear talk around it that makes it seem like it's oh, you better look out. If you were an asshole, it's coming for you. I mean, that's kind of it should be anyway, but that's not what I'm saying. It's more, if you're looking to right some wrongs, or if you're looking for some clarity and some clues around where it is that you could cinch some things up or do things a little better or be a little bit more on it, or clean up your act on some things that you've been really wanting to clean up on. Now is the time, with the energy that it's going to be bringing into your experience, opportunities that are going to kind of tease out or bring people back into your experience that will tease out and trigger you into a space where you're going to have to deal with some stuff. And you're going to have an opportunity to do it differently. And you are the one who decides how this goes. And that is the beauty of free will. And that is the energy this week. All right, I'm going to jump into the cards. So, reach out to me here for readings. Please feel free to reach out with questions. You can fill out a contact form on my website and we can talk about it. I have all kinds of options and really awesome things to offer you. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. And I'm going to jump into the cards. So, for 1, if you chose 1, your card is, what do you feel? Come on, focus here. Her face is like, say what? That is the look on her face. We have apples and oranges, okay? We've got this lady who's just kind of sitting here with her sort of interesting choice in clothing. Reading a little too deep into the cards here. That's why I don't read too deep into them. Okay, so what do you feel? The question is really, 1, you know how you feel about this. You know how you feel about this in a very black and white way, okay? In an opposing sense. Apples to oranges, right? The saying, it's like comparing apples to oranges. They're two completely different things. Yeah, they are, and then they're not. This is where you're going to be asked to kind of take your emotions that you feel strongly about one side, okay? Let's just, for the sake of example, you feel very strongly about the Apple case, okay? Your team Apple. And you can't see or hear or want to get involved with whatever the shit that Team Orange is saying. You just can't see it. And you kind of have this sort of slack-jawed sort of, I don't know what's going on here, as you're looking at Earth hoping for some guidance. Have I nailed it for you? Nailed it. Anyway, just this life is just too funny not to laugh at. You have to consider the other side here, because that's the point. The reason why you're in this sort of tit for tat, why is this so difficult? We always seem to be at odds, or there seems to be a polarity. Some of this has to do with a work colleague with a group of you. The rest of this has to do with a partnership. It has to do with a partnership. This could be a close friendship. This doesn't necessarily have to be relationship. It feels like more a social thing that's happening, if it is happening in a close relationship, which is why it feels more social friend. It's kind of I don't understand why they do it this way. I don't understand why they don't understand that this is what I prefer. And it's really a matter of communicating. And it's also a matter of realizing that your soapbox that you're standing on here, Team Apple, is just as valid and as important as Team Orange's soapbox. There isn't anything for you to get. I really can't stand her face. Okay, this is really what we're looking at here. You're allowed to feel what you feel, but you also have to acknowledge what the other party is feeling as well. And if you can get to a place where you can kind of put some of your emotions aside around this because you feel very strongly about what's going on here, you'll be able to soften the interaction with the other party. You'll be able to see what they're trying to get through to you, because they really just want to be heard and seen just like you do. You don't have to continue to keep banging on the drum of Team Apple. We know where you stand, and it is known where you stand, and you are valid, and you are seen, and you are worthy, and everything that you feel about the stance makes sense. But the other person also gets to have that stance as well on their side. And this is where you get to learn a little bit how to compromise, because you haven't had to compromise so much over an emotional thing. This is something different. This is new territory for you, one. And it feels like it has to do with something ending, and that's also connecting here to the 9. Something is ending in order for something else to begin. So through this process and the closure that's going to happen, and the duality that's happening here in this sort of tit for tat situation, and this communication snafu that keeps coming up, is going to resolve itself and allow you to get to the next step. In a sense where you're feeling like, is this a test? Yeah, it is. It actually is. And it's one that you've created for yourself. So that's not to say that because you're having a hard time does it mean that you don't like yourself, but you could ask yourself why you're giving yourself such a hard time. Why are you holding on to this so hard? Why is this such a big deal? And maybe you need to be the one to say that to yourself. Maybe you need to hear why it's important to you. Maybe you're the one who needs to be sat with yourself and have a moment where you can sit down and journal it, or talk about it, or cry about it, or rage about it, or reminisce and go down memory lane about it. But allow yourself to have some time with that feeling, because that feeling is on your end needing to be expressed and understood with yourself. Okay. All right, 2. If you chose 2, your card is Releasing Allegiances. These cards are so wild. And interesting that this is 10 and we just had 9, so this is sequential. Some of you chose more than one card. I'm interested to see how the 1 and 2 combo works out for you if you chose 2. All right, so these are flies. I see them as flies. And I'm hearing that, you can't catch flies with vinegar, you catch them with honey, that whole concept. And then I'm hearing the, what is that? Stone Temple Pilots, flies in the Vaseline. So it's kind of a, the vibe though behind this entire card to me, and the connection also to those of you who picked it in 1, is that it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You're feeling very on the fence, You don't really have a way to go. One way or the other doesn't seem to be more favorable. I'm hearing crapshoot. And there's a lot of frustration that's coming up around whatever situation you're in that is causing you to kind of release these allegiances. So again, this has to do more with a release of responsibility, and also a release energetically of what you've let this situation kind of do to yourself and your energy field too. You've really taken this on. I know that sounds like I'm condemning you for that. I'm not. I'm just feeling the weight of it. There's a heaviness around what you've had to carry here. And in order for you to release yourself from these shackles and essentially unfold yourself from this very uncomfortable space that you've kind of put yourself in an emotional way, it's almost like you don't know how to get yourself out of it. But what you have to understand is that through the process of experiencing the discomfort, this is where you are learning the lesson that you need to learn in order to move into what you want. Because 10s are 1s, and 1s have to do with the great I am, the ability to be connected to source and to be part of the manifestation power that is what we are all here for. We are the creators as well. So just know that the sweetness and the ways that you've had to kind of manipulate yourself in order to work with someone else, or to get out of this situation, or to stay in the situation, or to stay someone who can be heard within the situation, it's no longer comfortable and it's no longer working, and you're allowed to be like, okay, I'm done, I deserve comfort. You're allowed to choose and upgrade a size of life that's going to fit you, not cramming yourself naked, crawling with flies in this situation, because it's not doing what you thought it would anymore. It's not serving you anymore. And you have the opportunity now, and I believe that through Neptune retrograde, which is going to be dealing a lot with introspection and looking at the things that we the patterns and the behaviors and the limiting beliefs that we have kind of put on ourselves, or taken on by others, or been fed to us generationally, is something that we're sloughing off. And you too are working on this as well. So you can be upset about it, but you got to do something about it too. Okay? No more victiming. No more playing small. Level up. All right, 3. If you chose 3, your card is Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats. Ooh, zoning in and out here because I can't get my camera to do its thing. This is a 21, which is a 3, and 3s are connected to the Ascended Masters. The Ascended Masters being your Jesus Sananda, Buddha, Shiva, Sekhmet, all of your big guns, right? You are communing 3 with the universe in your sleep. There's been a shift in your levels of energy throughout the day. You might be finding too, waking early between 3 and 6 and not being able to go back to sleep, where you can really fall asleep quite easily and you kind of conk out, but you can't stay down. Almost having a slump throughout the day, and it's not having anything to do with substances or anything that you're using. You're just in a space where you're literally recalibrating. And through this recalibration, you are doing a lot of shedding through the mind and through your mental state. So there's a lot of ruminating, there's a lot of worrying that's happening. I hear over and again and check, over again and check. And it's almost a repeating sort of over again and check and over again and check. So you might be feeling really compulsed to write things down. Maybe you're having a hard time remembering things. There's a lot of brain fog that's happening here with you 3. Just know that this is something that will shift after the cycle of the moon cycle. I think that this might be something that's going to take a little bit of time, so we might be looking into the full moon at the end of the month rather than the new moon this weekend. But what we can do is utilize the new moon in order to set some seeds out there into the future of what we're wanting to bring forward, which is going to be more consistency in your ability to rest without having to deal with the fact that your intuition is super busted right now and coming online. So your big dreams and all of the weird stuff that's happening, you are also hearing and seeing some things that are kind of out of the corner of the eye, some lights flashing at times, also hearing your name. There's a lot that's coming online for you 3. So just know that inside in the heart space, you are calm and in a state of relaxation, and you will get to a space where you are more balanced within yourself in a spiritual way. You're just kind of really physically taking the hits, and it's kind of scrambling your sensors here. If you think about the energetic system of humans as being like a computer, like a motherboard. When you have to like defrag your hard drive, right? Like the whole thing just needs to kind of chunk, and everything needs to get kind of, all of the waste needs to be put in one spot, and then it needs to be offset and let go of. That's essentially what's happening, and it's just as happening during your dream time. So a lot of what you are releasing, you're releasing through the mind, and it's coming up through old stories and old dreams and old situationships and things that have kind of come up. So if you're feeling a little bit of that sort of funkiness with that energy, it's going to be dissipating. It's just working itself through. So try not to assign a story to it, and just allow yourself to feel those feelings. Okay? All right, so that is all for me today. Thank you so much for checking in. Would love to hear how this landed for you, so please leave me some feedback. Would love to work with you, so please reach out at my website. You can fill out a contact form. You can shoot me a message. I would love to do some custom work with you, so reach out. Hope you have a wonderful week, and know that I am pulling for you and thinking about you. All right, peace out. Bye.